everyone, welcome to the Here and Now. It's me, Jill, from the House of 10 Sinks, and short version, I got breast cancer. I wish it were clickbait. It's not, it's a thing. If you want the full story, keep watching. So, let's see. Let me get out my calendar so I can lay out the timeline for you here. It would have been Thursday, June 7th. I was laying in bed in the morning before my alarm went off, and I was doing this number, you know, laying there on my phone. And I felt something in my left breast. And, you know, I kind of did the, is that it? No. Is it? No. Yeah, maybe? So I got up, felt around again, and I could still feel it. So I got to work. I immediately made an appointment with my regular family doctor. Went in and saw him. I want to say my appointment was like at 11 a.m. or something. He felt it. He's like, yeah, it feels like a cyst. However, when it comes to weird things showing up in the breast, I don't take any chances. We're going to send you for a mammogram and a sonogram. So that was scheduled for Tuesday, June 12th. So Tuesday, June 12th, I go, I get, and in the meantime, I'm researching stuff. My family keeps telling me, oh, it's a cyst, it's a cyst. I found out my sisters had cysts, my other sisters had cysts, so I was researching cysts and how you treat those and how to avoid those, and I was fully prepared for this to be a cyst. So I went and I got my 3D mammogram on both breasts, and then I went in and they did the sonogram, and I was kind of looking at the screen because I could see it, and I'm like, well, I guess that kind of looks like a cyst. And the technician said, honey, if it was a cyst, I would have told you by now. So, you know, your freaking heart just drops. And she switches over to the layer of the sonogram that shows vascularity or blood flow. And it had blood flow. So I don't have a medical degree, but I know that that's not good. So she says, I can tell you right now, we're going to want a biopsy, and the doctor's going to want to do it today, like right now. So doctor came in, he looked at the sonogram, he looked at the mammogram. They did a core biopsy, and they told me that I would have my results. This is on a Tuesday. They told me I would have my results like Thursday after 1 p.m. or maybe even Friday. So I was talking to the doctor and I said, can you tell anything just visually looking at the biopsy? Like, can you tell if it's good, bad? And he's like, nope, it has to be sent to a lab. By the way, here's a list of breast surgeons. So I kind of had an idea. Wednesday, I want to say around 1:30 p.m. So it was the very next day. My doctor's office called me. They're like, we have the results back. It's cancer. And they said, please come in right away so we can talk to you and make sure that you're okay. Which, okay. So I went in. What I have is invasive ductal carcinoma. The tumor is a grade 2. So they grade your tumor based on like the mutation of the cells, how fast they're growing, and then there's like a third thing that they score. So the best case scenario is grade 1, the worst case is grade 3. So I'm right in the middle of the road, I'm grade 2. Yeah, so he's like, sorry, you have breast cancer. And really, all of my doctors throughout this have just been amazing. I know I'm kind of painting them in not a very good light, but they are on it and they have been awesome. So he's like, you know, you could have surgery right away and have it removed, or you could go meet with an oncologist to get like a total treatment plan developed and figure out the best way to fight this. So I selected to go through an oncologist. My oncologist is pretty cool. He's a really young guy, my primary doctor said that he feels like the younger the oncologist is, the more willing they are to look at new treatments and new techniques. He said the old ones tend to get a little bit stale and set in their ways. So on, let's see, that was Wednesday. So on Friday, me and my parents went and met with the oncologist. He couldn't really tell me a whole lot because they're still waiting for the genetic markers to come back. But he did say, you know, look, you have cancer, and we're going to figure out the best way to treat it. So now tomorrow is Thursday, and that will be exactly 2 weeks from the day that I found the lump. And tomorrow I go meet with the surgeon and the oncologist, and by this time they'll have the genetic markers back. So that way we'll know the best way to fight this cancer. So, you know, because there's different like treatment paths. Like some people do surgery and radiation and they're good, and some people do like chemotherapy, surgery, chemotherapy, radiation. So depending on basically how the cancer is fed, that's gonna dictate my treatment path. So that's tomorrow morning. Me and the boyfriend are going and we're finding all that out. So the good things, I mean, if you can get past the whole you have cancer part of it, I do have really good things going for me. One, the tumor is small. It's 1.9 centimeters. So that qualifies me for stage 1, as long as it hasn't spread to the lymph nodes, which we won't know that until everything's been taken out and analyzed in a lab. They did say that on my sonogram, my lymph nodes showed no signs of cancer, but there could be microscopic deposits in there. Like again, we just won't know until then. This is the most common form of cancer, and it has a 100% survival rate for stage 1. Stage 2, it drops a little bit to 89%. So very, very high survival rate. Because of the location of the lump, it's very close to the surface, which 1, helped me find it super early, and 2, makes me a really good candidate for a lumpectomy. Now, if I go talk to the surgeon tomorrow and they're like, you should have a full mastectomy, like, yeah, do that. Whatever's going to help me get through this. But I am a good candidate for a lumpectomy. And they said that the borders are very clearly defined, so they'll know that they were able to get it all out when it's finally removed. So, you know, all things considered, it could be a lot worse. I'm trying to stay positive about it. It's weird because I have no history of cancer, breast cancer in my family. My dad had thyroid cancer, my sister had a brain tumor, but they're both fine and up and walking around. And then all of a sudden, here I am, 42 years old, and boom, I pop up with breast cancer. Was not anticipated or expected. Honestly, I'm still a little bit baffled, and I'm trying to remain positive about it. I've talked to a lot of people over the last few days who actually have the same oncologist I do, so that also helps. And they've kind of told me their story, and I'm feeling pretty positive about it. And just because, you know, I'm sitting here and I'm talking pretty lighthearted and frank about it, that's just how I deal with things. I deal with things with a sense of humor. So if you hear me making jokes, it's just my way of coping, I guess. So that's what has been going on with me. Oh, and so found the lump on Thursday. And in the very early morning hours of Sunday, June 11th, my nephew was murdered in cold blood. We don't have a lot of details on that yet, but we do know that the suspect, a 17-year-old, by the way, has been arrested. My nephew had Asperger's, and he was kind of socially awkward. He didn't have a lot of friends, and he would kind of befriend anybody who was nice to him. And unfortunately, this time he befriended the wrong person, and he was shot in cold blood in the middle of the night and left to die. And that's exactly what happened. He was 22 years old. So it's just very tragic. We've had the viewing. We had the funeral on Monday, and what we're hoping for right now is that the They're actually having an arraignment here in a week to determine if they're going to try the suspect as an adult, because he's very, very close, like within a week of turning 18. So right now all of our thoughts are kind of going to hoping that he gets tried as an adult and that he's put away for a very, very long time for what he did. So, and then in the middle of all of that, I'm getting told I have breast cancer. And yeah, it's been the shittiest week of my life. I'm not even gonna pretend. But one thing I don't want is, I don't want to turn this into the all cancer all the time channel. I'm still me, I'm still Jill. It's just now, you know, I have this other thing going on. So I'm still gonna do clothing reviews, and who knows, I mean, maybe I'll end up doing cancer makeup tutorials or something. I don't know at this point. But I do have a Dia & Co box that I filmed, and I've just been waiting to edit it until, you know, then life fell apart. But I did actually just continue doing Dia & Co because they just kept doing me dirty. And then I have a Stitch Fix right here that I'm probably gonna try to film probably this week at some point. So bear with me, guys. I'm working my way through it. This is not what takes me out, okay? Like, I'm way too sassy to go out like this. So don't worry about me, but I do accept all the good vibes, good mojo, good juju that you want to send me. Like, yes, please, because it is a tough time right now. But I'm not going anywhere. Hang with me, and I'll see you guys next time.